What's going on, everybody? Joel here from the Token Minorities, and today I am bringing you the Week 2 NPL battle against the New England Patrats and BocciasBattles, and I've been very excited for this match all week. I'm sure he has as well. As I mentioned in my team building video, I was his first opponent in the league whenever he entered last season, and I beat him pretty handily, and I'm pretty sure he's out looking for revenge, so I definitely have to be on top of my game in this match if I want to come out on top. Now, before I jump into the battle any further, I wanted to give another big shout out to Slick Rick Nixon and these amazing shirts that he created for us, and I'll go ahead and show you a picture of it here so that you can see it for yourself. If you are interested in perhaps getting a Slick Rick Nixon t-shirt, just let me know and I can definitely hook you up. They are going to cost a little bit of money for you, but yeah, if you're interested, let me know and I'll give you some information on that. Now, jumping into the battle itself, if you haven't already watched my team building video, that will be a link in the description below. I advise you check that out so that you know the nitty-gritty details of my EV spreads and such, and my thought process behind building this team. But just for a refresher, for those of you who did watch it, or for those who are too lazy to watch it, I am bringing a special defensive Venusaur with 3 attacks. I'm bringing a special defensive Clefable with 3 attacks. Unaware variant for the Volcarona. I'm bringing a Hazard Control Skarmory, and then Dragonite, Porygon Z, and Tornadus I are all mixed attackers in an effort to hopefully KO the Blissey, such that it will not be able to shut down the special attacking onslaught that my team will be providing this game. So that's the idea with the team itself. Now, looking at team preview, he brought Pokemon that quite honestly I didn't expect. I did not expect him to bring Scizor in this match. He had Nidoking and Gengar, both of which had really good matchups against my team, in my opinion. Even if I tried to wall him out with Venusaur, the two of them could very easily take out Venusaur combined, and then the other one would have been left to really take a chunk out of the rest of my team. So whenever he didn't have those at team preview, I was really relieved. I thought that the match was going to go pretty smoothly, but as you'll see here throughout the battle, it was a little bit rockier than I expected at team preview, and I'll kind of describe that as I go along. So just based upon the lead matchups, I am going to lead Mega Venusaur as it has the best matchup against the majority of his team, and everything that he has that's a good switch into Mega Venusaur is easily countered by another one of my mons. So that's what we're going to do here. I'll lead off with Groot as he leads off with his Mega Lopunny. Now, I'm just going to go straight into my Skarmory, as this is an easy 100% counter to Lopunny, and I can immediately threaten it with a Brave Bird. But I'm going to go ahead and predict a switch to set up the Stealth Rock, as that is my best play. He has probably no means of hazard removal, and now that he revealed Toxic Orb on Gliscor, his only defogger potentially is the Scizor, and we'll see about that later on. I am able to bop the Gliscor with an Ice Beam on that turn, which is beautiful. I'm going to be off to an early 6-5 advantage, and I'm just really happy that Mixed Dragonite came through here in this week. Now, he brings in his Blissey against my Skarmory to absorb the Brave Bird, as this is his best switch into Brave Bird now that I took out his defensive wall Gliscor so early. And I'm just going to go into my Venusaur on the Blissey just to get my Mega Evolution off and go for a knockoff, kind of hoping that he'll try to go into Gardevoir, as Gardevoir is pretty frail on the defensive side, and getting it with a knockoff could be really nice because it could knock off maybe a Choice Item, Choice Specs, Choice Scarf, whatever the case may be. Here he brings in his Mothra, the Volcarona, in against my Skarmory, and I'm getting the heck out of there, going straight into my Unaware Clefable, as this is a perfect counter to any Volcarona set, and I'm just hoping that he doesn't realize that I'm an Unaware variant, and luckily for me, he does not realize this, and I'm able to bop him with the Hidden Power Rock, and down goes the second mon on his team, and we are off to an early 6-4 advantage, and it's looking pretty nice here so far. Here we go into my Skarmory, as this is my best answer, my best counter, I guess, not really counter, my best pivot into his Scizor, I guess, and now I'm going to double into my Venusaur, as this is a HP Fire Venusaur, and I was hoping to maybe knock out the Scizor there. I didn't really expect it, but it was a hope. And yeah, so now we're back in with his Gardevoir against my Skarmory. There are a lot of stally portions of this match, and I do apologize for that. It's just the nature of my team and the nature of his. I mean, he has a Blissey, I have a very painful defensive core. It's going to happen, unfortunately. Here, I'm just scouting for damage with my Clefable to kind of see what his special attack investment is like. And this continues for, I believe, a couple turns here, but he does reveal Psyshock. He also reveals Focus Blast, and I don't think he reveals much else. Now, I am also able to gauge the special defense investment and HP investment on this Gardevoir based upon that Moonblast damage, which is also pretty crucial later on. Now I'm just going to go into my Skarmory, predicting the Psyshock. He gets a crit, doesn't matter obviously because I am a freaking Skarmory, and I can take those for days. So now I'm going to go back into my Clefable, partially trying to burn him out of Focus Blast, partially just kind of playing around him a little bit, trying to get a feel for what he wants to do in this game. What is his response to Clefable? That's the question, because I don't think he really has one, especially based upon how little damage this Scizor is doing to my Pokemon, you know? The superpower earlier did very, very little damage, telling me that it probably had 0 attack investment, which is really surprising for him to bring a 0 attack investment Scizor against a team that has Clefable as its franchise mom when he doesn't really have any other Clefable counters on his team. So I don't know. I'm really confused by some of the building that was done on his part in this battle, but it was effective to an extent, and you'll kind of see this as we go along. Now, again, I'm going to go straight into my Skarmory on the Blissey, as it's relatively safe, and I want to get my health up as high as possible so that I can take 2 high jump kicks from the Mega Lopunny, and that's obviously the priority here, as this is my best switch into the Mega Lopunny, so it needs to be healthy. Now, again, on the Blissey, I'm going to go into my Clefable to bait the Seismic Toss and pivot into my Dragonite and get off a superpower, and I'm able to take out the Blissey. So the Expert Belt is coming in clutch here. I'm not sure if I would have been able to KO the Blissey without the Expert Belt, especially given I don't believe I have max attack investment on this Dragonite. I might be wrong, but I don't recall on that. I think I might be max attack, actually. Here, I decide to, I'm going to pause here. Here I decide to go for the Leaf Storm on the Mega Lopunny, and I believe it had a chance to KO from that range with my EV spread, but unfortunately I get a pretty low roll, and he's left with 6%. Now on this next turn, I am left with the choice of saving Mega Venusaur and trying to heal up, I guess, on the Scizor later on, or I can sack it here. Due to the... I guess I was worried about him predicting my switch into Skarmory and going for a high jump kick. In hindsight, I should not have sacked Venusaur here, which is what I choose to do. I'll go ahead and unpause. I do choose to sack Mega Venusaur here, but that does mean that both of the Mons that I had for the Scizor are weakened or gone. Both of the Mons I had for Scizor, as in those that had fire moves to hit the Scizor. So now this Scizor is going to prove to be quite the issue for my team to take out, because I can't hard switch Dragonite into this Scizor, as Bullet Punch is going to do a crap ton of damage to me, and I just can't afford that. So sacking Mega Venusaur there was a very big mistake. I would call it a massive choke, and here is choke number 2. I miscalced. Oh man, I ran a calc with Dragonite versus a defensive defog Scizor, and I saw that Bullet Punch did like 20%. I had, what, upper 40s percent left earlier on the last turn, and the thing was, I don't run any HP on this Dragonite, and the Dragonite that I calced, like the standard DD Dragonite, I believe is what I had up on accident, and it had like 240 HP EVs or something along those lines. And yeah, obviously if you have 240 HP EVs, you're not going to take as much damage from the Bullet Punch, but I don't have that much. So yeah, that was bad, because Bullet Punch did a lot more than I was expecting, and now my last easy check to this Scizor is weakened to the point where it cannot survive a Bullet Punch. So I did a back-to-back choke there, and now, unfortunately, I have to take a longer route in winning this game. I still feel like I can do it, but I have a feeling that it's going to come down to me hitting a Hurricane with Tornadus Eye, and obviously the odds game is not something that I wanted this game to come down to, and unfortunately it's kind of looking like that's going to be the case. So I guess these next few turns are going to be me just trying to condition him to where I can sneak my Porygon Z in against it and bait out a superpower, because I need him to be at a -1 level of defense, such that my Skarmory's Brave Birds can outstall his Roosts. That's the goal at this point, but I need to condition him first before I even attempt that switch, as I have to have Porygon Z alive. Porygon Z has to be alive for the strategy to work. Really, for me to win this game, Porygon Z has to be alive and has to do damage to the Scizor. So that's kind of the plan of attack here, and I'm going to speed this up a hair until we get to a little bit less stally of a section. Okay, so now he brings in his Gardevoir after I brought in the Porygon Z trying to bait out the superpower, so I guess he was scouting for what I was trying to do, and that was smart on his part, but unfortunately, my plan didn't work, so now I have to explore even more options. He misses a Focus Blast here, but because this is a Leftovers Gardevoir, and because he's definitely not EV'd very heavily in Special Attack, I don't think it mattered too much. Especially because I should be able to heal up on Scizor really at will. So now I just bring in my Clefable, knowing that I really need to get this thing weakened in order to beat it with my Porygon Z. He gets a very high roll there with the Psyshock, I believe, which is pretty unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. Now here, I definitely should have gone for the return, as I did have a +1 attack boost, and return was pretty much a guaranteed kill at this range. For whatever reason, I forgot. I know I had registered earlier in the match that this had some special defense investment. In fact, quite a bit of special defense investment. I have no idea why I went for Tri-Attack here. This game is just full of chokes on my part, and I'm quite honestly fortunate to still be in this game, considering how poorly I feel like I played throughout this entire game. But anyway, I go for Tri-Attack here, and it does 36%, nowhere near the KO, and thank the Lord he misses a Focus Blast. So now I am going to be able to take it out here, and I do see the end of the game in sight. I just have to hit a Hurricane. That is what it's going to come down to in the end, is I have to hit a Hurricane against the Scizor, and that's what we're going to push for here, I suppose. So now I again have to try to condition him to try to get my Porygon Z in safely, to land the Dark Pulse on the Scizor, and then finish it off with a Hurricane from Tornado's Eye, and then hopefully, at that point, I'll be able to finish off the game with a win. So that's the game plan, and we'll see when this conditioning process ends. It should be coming pretty soon. I'll go ahead and skip ahead a few turns. There it is. Porygon Z comes in on the supposed Roost. Yes, that's what I predicted. And now I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse, do about 43%, going to die to the Superpower. That is fine, because now he is forced to pick his fodder if I can hit the Hurricane, and he has no reason to switch out because he needs Mega Lopunny to even have a chance of winning this game. And luckily I do hit the Hurricane. I'm going to be able to survive this game with a 3-0 victory. Man, that was nuts. Great game, Boccias. You played much better this week than you did last time I played you, and I'm really happy for you in that regard. But as for my performance, I'm not happy with my performance. I probably could have and should have won 5-0 if I played how I was capable of. So that won't happen again, guys. That will not happen again. But the win I will take, and we are now 2-0 on the season with a +4 differential, which, believe it or not, leaves me only in second place in my conference. My conference is currently undefeated. I know Cheeseboy won his match this week, and Michael and the, what's his team, the Green Bay Palkias, also won their match this week. However, they did not play the first week, so they are currently 1-0. Cheeseboy is 2-0, and I am 2-0, so my conference is undefeated. It's going to be quite the race this season for me to win my conference, and I'm pulling for it, and hoping for the best. You know, I do play Cheeseboy next week in the Phoenix Sun Current, so I'm definitely pumped for that. That's a must-win game for me, and you better bet I'll put my everything into my team building. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next week against the Phoenix Sun Current, and I hope you enjoyed. Peace.